Geno Smith, Christian Wilkins. Myers zip in here. There he is. Getting their strength and conditioning going. Corey Benson. That's Malcolm Coombs, right? Now, this is where I say, guys, we've got to be careful when we're doing this type of stuff because I guarantee you, Ashton Jeanty, a generational running back, that dude's not going to be there at pick number 19. So don't get yourselves all hyped up that the Raiders could go out and get somebody of that caliber at pick 19 and somehow end up with like an additional first-round draft pick next year, maybe a second-round draft pick this year. If the Raiders were to do any type of trade back, it would definitely guarantee that we're not getting any of the top 10 guys. However, there are some trade backs where you could do something, and I want to share with you a guy who I've had on this show, Instagram, with a huge following over there, the GOAT 209. He put out his simulation draft board, and I want to share that with you guys here. So let's take a look at this. We've got him trading back, and now when he was on the show, we talked about this, and he is a proponent of the Raiders trading that 6th-round draft pick, garnering a couple of 2nd-round draft picks, or one this year and then maybe one next year, or in better retrospect, you trade back, you get a 2nd round and a 3rd round this year, and that way we can stack some more playmakers and starters on this roster because you only have 3, maybe 4 years with Pete Carroll before he's finally just going to be too old and going to have to retire. And so this has got me fired up. I think that there's a couple of things on this board that I disagree with my boy, the GOAT, but I do believe Josh is on the right track here. If we were to trade back and you got an additional 2nd round and 3rd round this year, you could have star cornerback Will Johnson at pick number 16 still on the board. And why would that be? How could Will Johnson, a guy a lot of people are comparing to the real GOAT of cornerbacks in Charles Woodson, played for Michigan, plays like Charles Woodson. Will Johnson had an injury that was devastating to the second half of his season last year. And because he didn't work out in the combine or the pro day, Will Johnson, his stock has plummeted from probably being a top 5 pick this year to now being a mid 1st round guy. And so this could be a major bonus for the Raiders if it worked out. Because in the 2nd round, you're going to have quite a bit of players that are going to be of high value. And in the 3rd round as well. And so if you can have 2 2nd rounds and 2 3rd rounds, you could have a starter in the 1st round, a starter in the 2nd round, a starter in the 2nd round, a starter in the 3rd round, and a starter in the 3rd round. That's 5 players that you could have as starters from this year's draft. So Will Johnson, in his mock draft, falls to pick number 16. And then he has Quinshon Judkins. Now, we talked about this with him. He is a believer in Quinshon Judkins. I like Travion Henderson over Judkins, but it's kind of like apples and oranges, right? They're both fruit. They're both delicious. They're both nutritious. Which one are you going to go with? In my opinion, you couldn't go wrong with either one. Personally, I like Henderson a little bit better. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if it's between Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. Who do you take? Who is your take for the Raiders in the 2nd round as that running back that could be available? Carson is definitely a dude. I give this, in the rankings, the grade, it has him as a C here. Maybe it's a little bit high for Carson. However, I think it's still good that you could go there. I personally would probably go at this pick, I would probably go with a wide receiver above Trey Harris. Trey Harris out of Mississippi is going to be good wide receiver, but I think you could go with Matthew Golden here And I think that would be a better pickup. So a little disagreement there, but I think you could go there. And then I think you could go with Carson Schweiziger after that at pick number 68 if the board were to fall this way. Now, if you look at his next pick, that's going offensive line. Now, offensive line, Tate Ratledge, who I've made a video about, I'm very high on this dude. Despite the grade here being a D+, I don't like that grading. I think Tate Ratledge is one of those nasty guards. A guard that is going to try and poke people's eyes out on that defense. And so I'm very high on Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. He's the type of nasty offensive lineman that the Raiders need to bring in that can really compete and become a week 1 starter. Now, as a rookie, he's probably going to struggle for the first couple of weeks, so we don't want to grade him too quickly, but I do believe that he would be an absolute beast. Now, here's where we go with the quarterback situation, and why I am a little bit different on this for me. I think that if you're going to go here with a Will Howard, I disagree. I like Will Howard. I like that he's a national champion. But Will Howard is, in my opinion, not the best fit for this Raiders NFL team. I understand Chip Kelly was his offensive coordinator, and that's why you would want to do it. I get that, right? However, I'm going to blow your mind, and if you've seen the thumbnail, that's why you clicked on the video. I'm going Riley Leonard here. Now, hear me out before you go and kill me in the comments, or kill me in the comments. It's fine. Helps the algorithm. Hit that like button while we're at it, guys. We've got 54 people in the house right now, and we do not have very many likes on the live stream. Smash the like button, and if you're brand new to the Raider D podcast, you better hit that subscribe button because I'll be bringing it to you each and every single day for the Las Vegas Raiders. Also, guys, if you want some hats, man, check out the shopping cart. I got the curated hats up there. Does every single purchase, doesn't cost you any extra, but it does go to help out the live stream. Now, Will Howard, great quarterback in college. I'm not sold that he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. He could be, but I'm not sold. A guy that I am sold on that will be a good quarterback in the NFL. A guy that I believe will be a starter in the NFL within 1 to 2 years. I'm going Riley Leonard, Notre Dame, went to the national championship.
You know Phillip Rivers comes from that same place, and you know Phillip. Have you thrown with Rivers and worked out with him?
Yes, sir. He lives around. He lives probably 3 minutes from my house, so I'm able to get over there and train with him. I don't think that there's a better person to train with when it comes to fast feet. You know, his baby 5 drop. To see him move in person, I mean, it's really cool for me.
A lot of people said he's got a weird release. I'll tell you what, it was the quickest release.
There you go.
I mean, you can't see his release sometimes. That ball comes out of his hands fast and accurate. Because when I saw you play at Duke, don't I see the same type of delivery at times?
Yes, sir.
Anticipation, quick release. Don't I see Phillip Rivers right here?
This guy was a basketball player who had a favor done to get him to Duke. He ends up becoming the freshman starter quarterback of Duke football. And he wasn't very good at it to start. And look at how quickly he progressed, not only at Duke, but also when he went to Notre Dame. And that is impressive. This is what I really look at a quarterback's trajectory, is how do they improve from the beginning? Did they suck? Did they have to work hard for it and then become an absolute monster? That's a guy that translates well into the NFL. When you see these 5-star recruits from high school get to college, and like Quinn Ewers, 5-star recruit, gets to college, played okay, wasn't terrible, but the expectations were not met. That's the quarterback I get worried about. But when you start out with no expectations because you were a basketball star in high school and you become the starting quarterback of a team and you suck, but then you get better rapidly, that's when things start to turn around. That's when you look at a quarterback like that and you say, when he gets to the NFL, he might be something special.